Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Petticoat Junction.
For a little dog, you make as much noise as a St. Bernard's.
Kate, big news.
Uncle Joe, I've got news for you, too. Yesterday, I asked you to put this aluminum sheeting in the tool shed until you're ready to fix the roof.
When did you read what's in this letter?
Uncle Joe, we are working.
But Kate. Kate.
Now, where'd I put my dustcloth?
Here, read it for yourself. Kate, you remember the couple at Honeymoon here a few years back?
Well, I don't know. We've had a lot of honeymooners.
Well, you know, the newlyweds.
Well, it seems to me that all honeymooners are newlyweds.
Well, these particular newlywed honeymooners were here about 10 years ago, according to their letter. See? You girls were too young to remember, but their name was Anderson. See what they say in the letter, Kate?
Yeah.
Their 10th wedding anniversary is coming up, and they remembered having such a good time here, they want to come back for a second honeymoon.
Oh, boy, customers again.
Well, Kate, what did you think of the letter?
I think it's the most beautiful letter I almost read.
Well, we're back in business.
Now, girls, don't count your chickens before they're registered. Besides which, we have a lot of work around here to finish up.
Kate, I figured you'd be all excited about the news.
Oh, I am glad about the business, Uncle Joe, but I don't see why I should get so worked up. After all, it's only 2 customers.
Well, Kate, don't you see the possibilities?
I can't even see my dust cloth.
It is sure lucky for you my brain is on its toes. Don't you see? If one couple wants to come here for a second honeymoon, why not all the other couples at Honeymoon here?
Aha!
I knew you'd like it.
There it is, behind the flowers. Now, what were you saying, Uncle Joe?
Confound it, Kate. Why are you always laughing at my big money-making ideas?
I don't always laugh at them. Sometimes I cry.
Mom, maybe this time Uncle Joe's hit on something big. I can't see anything wrong with the idea.
Of course not. It's a great idea. I'll bet couples like Walter and Elsie Shepherd who got married here, they'd come. Plenty of others, too.
Well,
I know you'd like the idea. Let's look up all our old honeymooners and send them an announcement of our gala reunion.
And to make it easy for them to reply, why don't we include a self-addressed return envelope? And then all they have to do is fill in the date. Yeah.
sounds like a good idea, but it's going to be rough on you, Uncle Joe.
Me?
Well, sure. The first couple to arrive are going to want the same room they spent their honeymoon in, and that means you'll have to go back down the hall and give up the bridal suite.
Charlie,
What do you want?
can I blow the whistle?
Be my guest.
Can I do it again?
No, I reckon.
Thanks, Charlie. Could I ask you a question?
Sure.
What are we blowing the whistle for?
Let the girls know we're here.
Oh.
Hi, boys.
Hi, Kate.
The girls won't be going to town. They're helping Uncle Joe. I don't suppose you have any mail.
Sure, Floyd. I reckon that's the answers you've been waiting for.
Oh, well, I didn't dream that Uncle Joe's idea'd fetch this many replies.
I can't figure out why so many people would want a second honeymoon.
Well, I can. As each returning spring renews the promise of youth, so a second honeymoon renews the dream of love in two blissful hearts.
Floyd, that's the most touching thing I ever heard.
Yeah? There wasn't a dry sack of popcorn in the Bijou Theater when Conrad and Eagle said them words to Mae Bush in Reunion in Hackensack.
Really? Well, if you boys will excuse me, I'd like to get back up to the hotel and open these letters. Thanks.
Sure, Kate. Floyd, I didn't want to embarrass you in front of Kate, but it wasn't Conrad Nagel that said that.
Well, who was it?
Hoot Gibson. He said it to his horse.
I wrote this sign like you asked me to, Uncle Joe, but I still don't understand. Where's Lover's Pond?
What's the matter with you, girl? Lover's Pond's out back. We want the place to look romantic, don't we? What if we put out a sign with the real name, Scully Swamp?
Uncle Joe, we don't have a tunnel of love. We don't have any tunnel.
Well, if anybody pins us down, we can flood the old cave back in the hillside, shove in a rowboat, and we're in business.
Uncle Joe, I've scrubbed and scrubbed this old Cupid, but I can't do a thing with it.
Well, second honeymooners ain't very critical. Give it a coat of whitewash and it'll look as good as new. It's great work, girls. By the time we're finished, the Shady Rest will look as romantic as Cleopatra's barge.
Uncle Joe, girls, look at all this mail. There must be at least 25 answers here, isn't there? You know, if all 25 couples show up, we'll only have room for half of them. Oh, well, we'll give Niagara Falls a break and send them our leftovers. Here, girls, we've got to figure out how many couples we're going to have. Now then, we will put the yes answers here and the no answers here.
Ain't gonna be no answers.
Here's an answer from Walter and Elsie Shepherd.
Oh.
Here's number one.
They can't come. He can't get away from his business at this time.
Here's another no. Oh, this is a no, too.
Well, that don't mean nothing. 3 out of 3 turn downs ain't nothing to get shook up about.
How does 4 out of 4 affect your nervous system? Oh, here's one that isn't a no. It's marked address unknown.
You're all just a bunch of chicks, that's all. Let me open one. I'll change your luck. Where'd you say the yes pile was?
Right over there.
Good. Anybody gets a yes, put it over there. Keep looking. There's bound to be a yes in there somewhere.
Well, here come our guests. Both of them. I guess we shouldn't complain. Things could have been worse.
How do you figure? Every one of the couple we invited turned us down.
Well, at the rate those letters were coming in, we're lucky the first couple didn't cancel. At least they're coming.
I still think it's a good idea.
Uncle Joe, you have wonderful ideas. It's just that we can't afford them.
Now, those couples that turned us down don't know what they're missing. They will when they see the pictures I'm going to send.
What picture?
Pictures of the fun the Andersons are having on their second honeymoon. When the others see them, they'll want to break down the doors to get in.
Oh, well, I sure hope our guests have fun. I'm a little worried about the weather. There isn't enough sun to take pictures.
Don't need the sun so long as I got this flash attachment.
Here come your guests, Kate.
Oh, Mrs. and Mrs. Anderson, welcome back to the Shady Rest.
Hello, Mrs. Bradley.
How are you?
Hello, Miss Bradley.
Hello.
Get out of the way, Floyd. I want to get a picture of the Andersons getting off the train. Now, don't move a muscle. This is just the beginning, folks. I'm going to capture every golden moment of your honeymoon. Now, get the luggage, Floyd. Yes, sir, this is going to be a time you'll never forget.
Oh, Mrs. Bradley, surely these young ladies can't be those tiny little...
Step right there. Step.
Why, this hotel is more charming than I remembered. It's really just...
No, it's a sign right here.
Now, hold it, Kate. And now smile. Not you, numbskull. I'm talking to Kate. All right, now let's try it again. Concern it, how can I get a clear picture if you keep moving that spoon?
Well, hurry it up. I don't want my batter to settle.
Well, if you don't stop stirring, it's going to look like your arm's got 14 elbows.
Good is a picture of the cake now. Why didn't you wait till it's finished?
I want to take pictures of every step of the way. This is going to be the most complete brochure I've ever made up.
Uncle Joe, didn't you take enough pictures yet?
Yeah, you've been photographing Mr. and Mrs. Anderson ever since they got here.
That's right. You took a picture of them getting off the train, walking up to the hotel, crossing the lobby, signing the register. What next?
Uncle Joe, you asked me to tell you when the Andersons came out of their room.
Good girl. Excuse me, Kate. I got to go take some more pictures of the happy couple. I hope they ain't wasting their time enjoying themselves before I get there.
You're not going anywhere except to the wood pile. Betty Joe, you run along with your uncle and take some pictures of him chopping wood.
Well, Kate, there's no market of a picture of me chopping wood.
Oh, yes, there is. I can sell them to Outlandish Adventure magazine. They feature fantasy.
You see him around anywhere? No. Good, let's go for a walk while the coast is still clear, huh?
Hi.
Oh, hi, Billy Joe.
I'm Betty Joe.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you girls have all changed so much.
Yes.
She resembles her mother, don't you think, dear?
Can we get a little smile there? We want you looking happy.
I think she favors her uncle. All right, let's get it over with.
That's it. Hold it.
You hold it. I'm sure that Mr. and Mrs. Anderson would like a little privacy.
But, Mom, Uncle Joe appointed me his assistant.
I am unappointing you. People on their second honeymoon would like to be with themselves.
Oh, they would? Well, I know there's a lot of keen privacy over at Lover's Rock or Lover's Pond.
Oh, Jeff, doesn't that sound romantic? Why don't we go over...
No. We don't want to know where you're going. If you want some privacy, keep it to yourselves.
That's a very good idea, Mrs. Bradley. Come on, Nancy. Oh, boy. We better get out of here.
Please, honey, I gotta rest just a minute, please.
Okay. Say, if I remember correctly, the brook was over in that direction somewhere.
Oh, my. Imagine you're remembering after 10 years' time.
How could I forget, darling? Come on.
Here.
Shh. Listen. Come on.
Indian lore tells me that they went toward the brook.
We'll try to get to the brook later. Yeah. Come on, darling.
I wonder where they are now.
The Andersons? Right now, their second honeymoon is renewing the dream of love in two blissful hearts.
Gee, Mom, that's just beautiful.
Well, it isn't original with me. Conrad Nagel said it to Mae Bush in Reunion in Hackensack.
I feel like we've walked 500 miles. Can we sit down just for a minute, huh?
Sure.
Oh, Jeff, I'm sorry. This is all my fault. I should never have suggested we come back here for our second honeymoon.
Well, I can't let you take all the blame. After all, I thought it was a wonderful idea, too. It's just that we didn't count on all this, running around. Hey, I think we better get back. I don't like the looks of the weather.
Yeah. You know, Mrs. Bradley was saying how unpredictable the weather is this time of year.
Oh?
Jeff, do you remember the first storm we were caught out in together?
Yeah, all that thunder and lightning.
Honey, you never told anybody what really happened, did you?
Oh, of course not, darling. Well, there's nothing to be ashamed of. After all, lots of people are afraid of thunder and lightning and rush into someone's arms for protection.
You know, 10 years ago, I was happy I was the girl you found. I still am.
I'm happy I found you, too.
And I'm happy I found the both of you.
Well, no, there are no connections back home until tomorrow. But why do you want to leave?
Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Bradley, but our second honeymoon isn't turning out exactly the way we planned.
It's just that we didn't expect to run into a mad photographer.
I get more rest at home when I'm cooking, cleaning, and taking care of my 5 children.
Look, to make up for your bother, we won't charge you up until now. So why don't you two go and relax for a while? Tonight, we're giving you an anniversary party.
Oh, well, that's very sweet. Oh, I'm terribly sorry we had to complain.
No, you were right. You were right. I promise you, no more picture taking. And if a camera bug shows up, I'll step on it.
You mean I can't take even one more picture?
That's right.
Not even a shot of the couple cutting their anniversary cake?
No more pictures, and that's fine.
But, Kate, it'd be so beautiful. Husband and wife holding the knife at the same time, cutting the first slice.
Uncle Joe, if you take any more pictures, the first slice they cut won't be cake. It'll be you.
Kate, how can I have a complete brochure if I don't have...
Uncle Joe, listen to me. You have no idea how upset those people were. You should have seen their faces. They were a bundle of nerves coming apart at the seams.
Oh, that don't mean nothing. All married people look like that.
They got that way when you decided to be a one-man candid camera. Now, would you please let them enjoy the rest of their honeymoon?
I guess I was a little selfish.
Well, yes, you were. Now, why don't you go in there and apologize to them right now and then see to it that they have a wonderful time?
Leave it to me, Kate. So I want to apologize for all the fuss and bother I caused you folks.
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Carson.
It's just that it was a little unnerving, you know, not knowing where you're going to pop up with that camera next.
Well, you should have spoken up sooner. If you'd have said no pictures right away, this wouldn't have happened.
Well, we didn't want to hurt your feelings.
People should speak up. You know, if they don't, things pile up inside, and the first thing you know, they explode, right?
Well, some people maybe.
Surely you two should understand that after being married for 10 years. I'll bet there's been lots of times you've gotten something off your chest with a good toe-to-toe battle. The next thing you knew, it was out of your system and you'd forgotten about it, right?
Mr. Carson, it may interest you to know that my wife and I have never had a quarrel in our lives.
Never?
Never.
Not even a little argument?
Nope. No. I am married to the best housekeeper in the world, the best mother in the world, and the best wife in the world, right? Mm-hmm.
Thank you, dear.
How do you feel about him being married to all these different women?
I don't mind. I feel the same way about Jeff.
I never thought it possible 2 people could be married that long without finding some little something to pick on.
Well, we've done it, haven't we, honey? Mm-hmm. Even Helen is as surprised as you are.
Helen?
Helen's my sister.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Helen, you know, we wouldn't be here on our second honeymoon.
Helen's a real doll.
She is. She certainly is. And she is a very good housekeeper.
Oh, Helen's very helpful. Wait a minute, dear. What do you think I do around the house all day? Play hopscotch?
Well, honey, I didn't mean you weren't a good housekeeper. I was just telling Mr. Carson here what a wonderful sister you have.
Oh. Well, if Helen's so wonderful, maybe you'd rather be here with her.
I don't want to be here with her. I want to be here with you. Now, if I were here with Helen...
Oh, so you were thinking about being here with Helen.
I wasn't thinking about anything.
I think a nice cool drink would go good right now. I'll get some punch.
Mr. Carson was right. If something was bothering you, why didn't you bring it out in the open?
Nothing is bothering me. Absolutely nothing. Wouldn't bother me if Helen moved out tomorrow.
Oh, so now you don't like my sister.
Oh, honey.
Gee, it looks lovely, Mom.
I'm glad. I wanted it to match the beauty of their marriage. They're a very devoted couple.
Well, it seems like 20 years to me, too.
Just cool that. You can find yourself a separate room to sleep in tonight.
Well, that's fine with me. Fine with me. I better get upstairs and get my things before you burn.
She didn't even taste it. Joe, this has all the earmarks of a quarrel.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
What started it?
They're married. They don't need a reason.
Now then, take that up to Mrs. Anderson in her room and this up to Mr. Anderson in his room.
Poor people. And to think they came here to celebrate 10 years of happy married life together.
Mm-hmm. And they could have been married another 50 years had they not run into 185 pounds of bad luck.
Mrs. Anderson took her dinner in her room and she won't come out.
Mr. Anderson, too. He won't come out for fear of running into his wife.
Doesn't it break your heart? If only there were some way to get them into each other's arms again.
Kate!
Whatever it is, I don't want to hear it. You've caused enough trouble. Come with me, Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe, I asked you to put that aluminum in the tool shed.
Kate, I thought you were fond of me.
Well, I am, but what's that got to do with anything?
You know how great a conductor of electricity aluminum is. What if I should get struck by lightning? It'd go up like a crepe Suzette.
Uncle Joe, that isn't going to work. Uncle Joe, must you be so noisy? You sound like a thunderstorm.
Thunderstorm? Kate, you've done it again. I'll be a monkey's uncle if you didn't come up with the answer.
I did?
You come up with a sure way of getting that couple back in each other's arms.
I don't know what I did, but I'm sure glad I did what I did. What'd I do?
It reminded me of what Jeff Anderson told his wife this afternoon out in the woods.
What'd he say?
Well, they were talking about one time they got lost in a storm out in the woods together.
Yes, what about it?
Well, she said she hoped he'd never tell anybody what happened. And he said she shouldn't be ashamed of a thing like that.
Thing like what?
Well, he said that lots of people ran into each other's arms when they heard thunder and lightning.
Oh, you mean if there's a thunder and lightning storm tonight, she might run into his arms?
That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, well, we're out of luck because the radio said that the storm headed this way has changed its course.
Oh, what do they know? It's gonna storm, all right. I can feel it clear down to my lumbago.
Uncle Joe, the lumbago isn't going to work either. To the tool shed.
You flagged the cannonball just to tell us that dumb idea?
All right, Charlie, if you don't want to help Floyd and me, you don't need to, right, Floyd?
Yeah. Help us what?
Like I told you, create a big thunder and lightning storm for the newlyweds.
You mean you and me? Two ordinary human beings gonna create a thunder and lightning storm?
She's not scared.
Nancy! Nancy? Nancy! Nancy!
He's scared that she's scared.
Oh, don't be frightened, dear. It's only a thunderstorm.
No wonder she didn't want him to tell anybody. He's the one.
I'm sorry, dear. I've never been able to get over this feeling all my life.
Uncle Joe, if I were you, I'd give up thunderstorms and specialize in light drizzle.
Folks, if you're gonna make a connection, we gotta get going.
Well, we want to thank you for a wonderful time.
You won't forget to send us the pictures, will you, Mr. Carson?
Oh, you want the wallet size or the jumbo size? I can give you a special price on the jumbos.
Uncle Joe, now you be sure and come back on your third honeymoon.
All right, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Well, there's another marriage I saved.
How do you figure that?
They were building up all those little grievances against each other for years, weren't they? If it weren't for me, they never would have brought them out in the open. That couple live happily from now on.
And you take credit for that?
I planned the whole thing. I figured it's one of the best business propositions I ever thought of. We'll have all these old married couples out here for one grand battle. Get everything out of their system.
Uncle Joe, you make marriage sound like it was Custer's last stand.
Filmways presentation.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Peoticoat Junction.
Well, I've got a few questions to ask the girls. What do you want out of this catalog?
Gee, Mom, it's awfully heavy.
And that's only from A to H.
Oh, there's some darling dresses in there. Well, let me see the baseball equipment.
I'm getting some good stuff.
Catalog seems to be a big event around here. Is it some special occasion?
Oh, the only occasion is that the girls haven't had anything new in a while. I hope their questions haven't been interfering with your writing.
Interfering? Why, I get more work done here in one day than I did in a week in New York. This hotel is a wonderful place for writing.
I'm glad to hear that, because it's a terrible place for a hotel.
And for 3 young girls?
Have you ever seen 3 happier girls?
No, nor 3 prettier or brighter girls.
Thank you.
It just seems they should have more opportunities than they'll ever get here.
Oh, they couldn't be pried away from the Shady Rest.
There's nobody in New York can announce trains better than that little fellow.
Oh, and that whistle means Uncle Joe's back from the bank. Excuse me, please.
Surely.
Uncle Joe, you mean Mr. Gurney wouldn't...
He said he was sorry, but he was running a bank, and it just wouldn't be good business.
But lending money is a bank's business, and I've always paid the interest on time.
Well, it wasn't the interest he was principally interested in. What he was principally interested in was the principal.
How can a bank be so mean? I got a good mind to send back their calendar. Girls, I don't know how to tell you this.
You don't have to tell us. There's nobody around here to admire me in a pretty dress anyway. There's nobody to play baseball with. And who am I going to read poems to?
Billy Joe, I'll admire your dress. And Betty Joe, you can play ball with me and you can either pitch or catch. And Bobby Joe, you can read your love poems to me anytime you want.
Thanks, Uncle Joe. But that isn't exactly what I had in mind.
I see what she means, but I'm the best I got to offer. No, it isn't fair to the girls. Maybe we ought to move somewhere where there's more teenagers like themselves.
Move? How can we afford to move when we can't even afford to stay?
Well, don't worry, Kate. Once I put my brain to the grindstone...
No wonder Mr. Gurney turned you down. You forgot to give him the rhubarb pie I baked for him. The nerve of him. You mean he ate my pie and then turned down the loan?
No, Kate. First he turned down the loan, then he ate the pie.
He's got more crust in the pie. Why should I blame him? The truth of the matter is that I've never made a go of this hotel, and sometimes I wish I could get rid of it.
Is there any more of this?
How can you think of eating at a time like this?
When I'm frustrated, I eat.
From the looks of you, your life has been one long frustration.
Mrs. Bradley.
Oh, Mr. Deming, is there something I can do for you?
Yes, there is. You can sell me the Shady Rest. I'm serious, Mrs. Bradley. I'd like to buy the Shady Rest. I've been thinking about it all week. I'd be making an investment in peace and quiet.
Yes, Sometimes the peace and quiet around here is nerve-wracking. Besides, it hasn't been very profitable.
It would be to me. The way I can work here, why, it would pay for itself in no time. You and the girls could move to the city where they belong.
Girls would never be happy away from here.
Mrs. Bradley, are you sure of that?
Mothers know their daughters. I remember when I was their age, I would... Come to think of it, I'm not so sure. Sell the Shady Rest?
I know it's sudden, but you think it over.
Sell the Shady Rest?
A couple more turns and I'll have this drain unclogged.
Uncle Joe, look what you've done.
Found the problem, Kate. What we need is a new pipe.
And a new sink, and a new stove, and a new refrigerator, and a new roof, and a... Uncle Joe, what would you say if I sold the Shady Rest?
Sell the Shady Rest?
You wouldn't like that, would you?
I'd love it.
Well, you sure don't look very happy about it.
I was just thinking who'd buy a no-run-down place like this.
I'm just getting an idea of the size of the lobby. You know, figuring how I'd remodel it if I owned the hotel.
Oh. Did you say own the hotel?
That's right.
You'd be interested in buying this rundown? You'd be interested in buying the Shady Rest?
I sure would.
Kate, put down your iron and get ready to pay me a commission.
What?
You remember a minute ago you were despairing about selling the Shady Rest? Just like that, I come up with a buyer.
You did?
Yeah, it's that novel writing feller, Carter Deming.
Uncle Joe.
First, I got to think of some way to unshamble the place, make it more attractive to him.
Uncle Joe, Mr. Deming already told me he likes the Shady Rest.
Kate, I'm going to sell it to him without him even knowing he's being sold.
Uncle Joe!
Mr. Deming, you had me fooled. I really thought you was one of them riders.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, come on now. I know why you want to buy this property. You're one of them archaeologists.
Archaeologists?
Sure. You know about the big oil field under this property.
I think you mean geologists.
What's geologists?
They're interested in rocks.
Oh, and you know about the diamond mine, too.
No, Mr. Carson. I'm not interested in oil wells or diamond mines.
Then you must have found out about the healthful atmosphere here. Doggone it, I let that slip out. Mr. Deming, I hope you'll forget I said that. I hope you'll forget we got the healthiest atmosphere in the world. Birds with chests out to here. Man could live to be 100 and feel like a pup all the time. How's that for 96 years old?
Pardon me, Nijinsky. Would you pirouette out to the woodshed and bring back an armload of kindling?
We're pretending we're living in New York, and I'm the world's most glamorous model.
Is that the way you're going to do it?
Oh, she's walking on men.
And who are you?
Oh, I'm the world's greatest girl baseball player. And this is my sister, the world's greatest writer. Please, I'm having an inspiration.
Well, looks like I got into the wrong room. I was looking for the world's best towel putter-upper. Would you girls really like New York?
New York, kidding? Oh, Mom, it's fabulous.
And Betty should know.
She spent almost a week there.
There is no question about it. New York is the most exciting city in the world.
What other exciting cities have you seen?
Well, we practically flew right over Philadelphia.
Just wait till I show you New York.
Have you made a decision, Mrs. Bradley?
Well, one. I was wrong about Uncle Joe and the girls not being happy any place but here.
I'll give you $10,000 for the Shady Rest.
10,000? My goodness, I knew we had peace and quiet, but I didn't think we had that much. The Shady Rest isn't worth anywhere near $10,000.
It is to me. And think what that money would do for the girls. A new environment, opportunities, college.
College? I never thought I could send them to college.
I knew you'd see the advantages. Here's my check for $1,000 as a deposit.
I don't know. I just don't know.
Mrs. Bradley, you're aware of your financial situation here. You're aware of what Uncle Joe and the girls want. And you know you'll never get a better offer. I think you really do know what you should do. It's a deal then. And no backing out now.
No backing out.
You shouldn't have embarrassed me in front of Mr. Deming. I was just telling him how helpful it is here. It's part of my sly selling tactics.
Uncle Joe, I've sold the Shady Rest.
Sure you will with me working on Deming. Sold it?
To Mr. Deming.
Didn't I tell you I'd do it? My sly tactics worked out even faster than I expected. Now all me and him's got to do is sit down and work out the financial details.
The hotel is sold.
$1,000? Haven't I told you to leave business to me? I could have got you $2,000.
That's just the deposit. Mr. Deming paid $10,000 for the hotel.
Huh?
$10,000. Now, don't let on to the girls. I want to tell them myself. And after dinner will be a good time.
Do you go to Madison Square Garden?
Have you ever been to a fashion
Do you
show?
think I'm pretty enough to be a New York model?
I'll answer those questions later on. Right now, I've got to get back to work.
That's right. Let Mr. Deming go. Good night, Mr. Deming.
Good night.
Good night.
Wait a minute, girls. I have an announcement to make.
An announcement?
Mm-hmm. We're all going to New York.
Oh, really? For how long?
Oh, not just for a visit. We're going to live there.
We're going to live in New York City?
That's right.
But how?
How's because I pulled a slick high financial deal and sold the Shady Rest to Mr. Deming without his knowing it.
You sold the Shady Rest? We're not going to live here anymore? And we're going to live in New York?
Isn't that wonderful?
It's a joke, isn't it, Mom? You wouldn't sell the Shady Rest.
But you said how wonderful New York was.
It is, but we didn't mean to live there.
But you said it would be wonderful to live in New York.
Well, it would be if you belonged there. But we belong here. We don't want to live anyplace else.
Now stop your crying. In a couple of days, you'll love New York. You won't even miss this old broken down, ramshackle bullshit.
Uncle Joe, wait a minute.
Kate, I've been thinking, we got to cancel out New York.
Uncle Joe, you might as well accept the fact that the hotel is sold.
But Kate, if I leave, what's going to happen to the Hooterville Fire Department band? What if there's a fire? Who's going to organize the Elks picnic?
The music will be better, the fires will be put out sooner, and the Elks picnic will be held in a more suitable place than Scully's Swamp.
But if
It's no use. I shook hands with Mr. Deming and promised not to back out.
Kate, I ain't talking about you backing out. I'm talking about him backing out.
He's not gonna back out. He's getting a lot of work done, and he loves the peace and quiet around here more than ever.
But Kate, what are you yapping and wagging your tail about? You ain't gonna like New York. Your rabbit chasing days are over. You're gonna find yourself stuck in a city apartment 50 stories above the pavement. Gonna have to learn to bury your bones in concrete. Hey, Fred.
Yes?
Want to talk to you.
Well, come on over here. We won't have to holler.
I can't. Your hog's clogging up my sinuses.
Well, then get upwind from it.
Want to make a deal with you, Fred.
Yeah.
How about renting me your hogs?
Renting? Well, now, I never had no experience renting hogs. What do you want to rent them for?
Well, we got this writing fellow over at the hotel we want to discourage. We figure your hog's in there going full blast.
No, just a dead blame minute.
Oh, no offense, Fred. Since this is a city feller, we figured your hog's in there a-fragranting and an-oinking around the hotel.
Well, now, in that case, they'd have to charge you by the oink.
Nobody's going to have time to stand around counting oinks.
Gotta have some way to figure.
What difference does it make, Fred? Your hog's got to oink someplace, whether they're oinking here or oinking there.
Well, what are you trying to get rid of this writing fellow for? Ain't he paid his bill?
Oh, he wrangled Kate into a deal to sell the hotel. If we don't discourage him, Kate and the girls are going to have to move away.
Oh, well, no. In that case, my hogs would be glad to oblige and no charge. We'll send this fella back where he come from. Hey, oh, do it.
Come on, boys, hurry it up. Let's go. Okay, Floyd, open that door real wide to release that hog aroma.
They're gone. Gosh, Fred will kill us.
Uh-oh.
You ain't paying passengers. What are you doing in the coach?
Joe, we told you to fasten that coach door tight.
It's lucky for us. The wind's blowing straight towards the hotel. I'll bet Demi's getting a whiff of them hogs right now. Get them oinks to going. Sorry to bother you, Mr. Deming, but I thought I'd better close this window.
Window? What for?
On account of the aroma that comes in regular this time every day.
I don't notice anything.
Then you ain't breathing. Here, take a deep one. I gotta be honest with you. The way the Cannonball's scheduled, they're gonna have to park a carload of them hogs here every day.
Ah, the smell of the country. But a wonderful relief after breathing in those exhaust fumes in New York.
Okay, boys, he's up there working. Let's start destroying the peace and the quiet.
All right, which one should we destroy first?
We don't destroy the cannonball.
Don't be selfish. You don't want Kate and the girls to go away to New York, do you?
No.
Then stop yapping and start whacking. Just come in to tell you I'm sorry about the noise Floyd and Charlie are making out there. I say I'm sorry about the noise Charlie and Floyd are making out there.
Oh, that's all right.
Now, you know how it is with an old locomotive like the Cannonball. It's got to be worked on all the time.
Guess so.
There's Joe's signal. He wants more noise.
Yeah, you keep on with the hammer and I'll add some extras.
Floyd and Charlie will probably be at it all night.
Guess so.
Girls, you're not eating breakfast.
We're kind of tired.
We didn't get any sleep last night.
Who did?
Boy, what a racket. You'd think Charlie and Floyd would have picked a better time to fix the cannonball.
That's no way to talk. The boys worked all night so you and the other kids could get to school on time.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Mr. Dillon.
Ah, smells good and looks good.
Morning, Uncle Joe.
Morning.
Morning.
You look pretty good, considering.
Considering what, Mr. Carson?
Considering the sleep you didn't get on account of the boys working on the locomotive.
Didn't bother me a bit. Slept like a baby. After living in a noisy place like New York, nothing keeps me awake.
talk with Floyd and Charlie, and what have you got behind your back?
What back?
The back you're using to hide something from me. Uncle Joe? What's in there?
Ain't nothing, Kate. Just a few friendly mosquitoes.
Friendly enough to bite Mr. Deming, so he'll think this is an unhealthy place to live and back out of buying the hotel?
Now, Kate, you're jumping to conclusions. I was just getting together an act.
Oh, it'll never top the act you've been doing so far. Floyd and Charlie told me about the phony breakdown of the cannonball and the hogs.
Oh, they did they?
Yes. And let's get one thing straight. The hotel is sold, and we're sticking to the deal.
But, Kate,
Oh, Mr. Deming, did you enjoy your walk?
Mrs. Bradley, I enjoy everything about this place. The walks, the food.
How do you like the mosquitoes?
What mosquitoes?
The ones that always show up here around this time of year.
Uncle Joe.
They come back here like the swallows come back to Capistrano. Only our mosquitoes is bigger.
Uncle Joe's making a little joke. Very little.
You're quite a card, Mr. Carson. I'm going to miss you.
And soon. He's gone into town to pick up the deed to the hotel, which reminds me. Girls.
Yes, Mom?
You better go along with Uncle Joe and keep an eye on him. I better go along and keep an eye on you. And you better come along and keep an eye on me. Oh, and Mr. Deming, you better...
No, thanks. All I want to do is get at the next chapter of my novel.
Well, that's that. Uh-oh. I just forgot something. Kate, I'll meet you and the girls on the train.
Well, hurry it up. Supper's late already.
Hey, Sam. Now, Sam, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but there could be a few loopholes in this deed.
Oh, not a chance. I drew that up myself.
Well, that's just the point. As our attorney, you might sneak in a few.
I guess I could do that. But as county clerk, I'd be bound to catch them.
You might not notice them.
Bound to. And as sheriff, I'd have to arrest myself.
Well, as county judge, you could give yourself a real light sentence.
You know what you've just tried to do? You've just attempted to bribe 4 county officials to do something illegal.
All right, I'm a reasonable man. We'll do it legal then. Look it up in the book.
All right, I'll get my do-it-yourself Blackstone.
It'd be under S for shenanigans.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's what I thought. The legal situation regarding Kate and the sale of the Shady Rest is a simple matter of an ex post facto case of a conveyance contract or covenant without recourse to escrow by the vendor or the grantee.
Yeah? Well, what does that mean in plain, simple, everyday English?
In plain, simple, everyday English, I'm sure going to miss you folks.
I thought you'd never get back.
Well, it took us a little longer than we figured. You must be starved. I'll start supper right away.
That can wait.
Oh. Well, here's your deed.
Mrs. Bradley, I'm going to be very direct. I'd like to back out of our deal.
You mean you don't want to buy the Shady Rest?
I'm sorry, I really wanted to. But I haven't written a dozen words since you left. I couldn't. The place has been like a big empty barn. I realized that what made me happy here wasn't the hotel or the peace and quiet. It was the spirit of the place. The nice, warm feeling that you and the girls and Uncle Joe give it. Without you all here, I wouldn't stay a week. I hope you're not disappointed.
Disappointed? Mr. Deming, I didn't think I would ever say this again for the rest of my life.
What?
You have just made me the happiest woman in the whole wide world.
That's wonderful. Well, bless you.
Junction. This has been a Filmways presentation.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Peoticoat Junction.
Contraption has got to go. Easy, girl. Easy. Steady now. Uncle Joe!
What's the matter? Must be an earthquake.
Here's your earthquake. Get it out of here.
We've only had it for a couple of days. Let's give it a chance.
To wreck the hotel? Already it cracked a set of dishes, shattered a window, and knocked 8 shingles off the roof.
You see, it stopped. Boy, what a bargain. It only cost $9.
And it's already done $14 worth of damage. I want this monstrosity out of here and get me a cake of ice for the old ice box.
If you don't think modern, what do you want an outmoded old ice box for? We can have this fancy deluxe all-electric type refrigerator.
It isn't going to work, Uncle Joe.
What isn't going to work?
Your idea getting out of work.
Who lugs 200 pounds of ice up on the train twice a week?
Floyd and Charlie.
Somebody's got to hold an umbrella over the ice so it won't melt.
Mom, look at this. Honey, I don't have time to discuss homework. Since when did you start taking Japanese?
I'm not. I started writing in English, and then this thing started vibrating. You just got to do something.
What's wrong with learning to write Japanese?
Get this piece of junk out of here and get our $9 back.
If it's the shaking that's bothering you, all it'll take is a simple little adjustment. Think I got it, Kate.
Go get the ice.
A new fuse would take.
Get the ice.
Kate.
The ice.
Kate. See, I told you.
Go get the
ice.
There. I give you your big chance and you blew it.
What do you mean?
Oh, you never make an engineer. You only give it 17 squirts.
Listen, Charlie, I've been watching you oil a cannonball for 30 years, and you always give it 17 squirts.
Then you've been watching wrong. I give it 19 squirts. Give me that oil can.
All right, you two, break it up. I got to get into Pixley right away.
Hold your horses. We're settling a railroad matter.
We'll settle it later. I got to get some ice.
So your $9 refrigerator conked out, huh?
It didn't conk. Kate wants to fill an ice bag. She's got a headache.
Yeah, from the $9 refrigerator.
All right, get this train rolling.
As soon as we settle our argument.
Yeah!
Now, as I was saying, what was we arguing about?
I don't know. I thought you was keeping track. Joe, what was Floyd and me arguing about?
Listen, you overstuffed throttle bender. If you don't get me into Pixley, you won't have to wonder what you're arguing about.
Listen here, Joe Carson. You can't talk to Charlie that way. Come on, Charlie. Don't mind him.
Okay, Floyd.
Charlie, what did you do with my apple?
What apple?
The one I put right there.
I didn't take your old apple.
I put an apple there and it's gone. And it couldn't have walked away.
Are you calling me a liar?
I ain't calling you a liar. Maybe your memory's shot from old age?
There's nothing wrong with my memory. You made that same false accusation back on July the 18th, 1953.
I did not.
Yes, you did. That's the day you accused me of stealing your blueberry pie. It turned up back in the coach with Mrs. Gunnarsson sitting on it.
That was July the 23rd, and it wasn't blueberry, it was cherry. And besides that, it was sat on by Mrs. Norton.
That was your responsibility. I just don't like anybody messing up my train.
Your train? What do you mean, your train?
Well, I'm the engineer.
Well, I'm the conductor.
And I'm the passenger.
You stay out of this.
I gotta get Kate some ice.
This train don't move until I say so.
What do you mean till you say so? Says who?
Says me.
Who said?
I said.
So's your old man. Says who? Who said?
I said. Darn refrigerator. Couldn't have broken one of my everyday pieces, no. Had to be one of my good ones. Now, a few more minutes, this glue will hold, and it'll be good as new.
Kate.
Uncle Joe, don't smash it! Well, there goes a half hour's work ruined. I thought you were on your way to Pixley.
Well, I was. Then I got on the train, and then I wasn't.
Look, Uncle Joe, I am in no mood for riddles. Now, what's that all about?
Oh, Charlie and Floyd, they got into some kind of a fathead argument about who was boss.
Well, didn't you tell them why you had to get to Pixley?
Yeah, but it didn't do no good. They're steamed up like two clams in a Turkish bath.
Well, maybe I can calm them down.
Well, they're all yours. They're out on the front porch.
Oh. Hi, Floyd.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Kate.
Nice day, isn't it? Must be a lot of people waiting for a ride on the Cannonball. And if Uncle Joe doesn't get to Pixley, my food's gonna spoil.
Kate,
Yes, Charlie?
would you please ask my pig-headed assistants to go rock someplace else?
Sure.
And you can tell that pot-bellied rhinoceros that this is a free country and I rock wherever I darn please. See? Rock.
Yeah, well, I'm rocking right back at you, see?
You know, boys, this is ridiculous. Look here, you grew up together, you went to school together, and you've been working together for the past, let's see, 25 years.
30.
Charlie, when you were sick, who brought you that nice hot soup? Floyd. And Floyd, when we had that cold spell last winter, who loaned you the money for an overcoat? Charlie. Now, come on. I want you to stop acting like children and get back on that train.
Well,
You hear? I want you to shake hands and make up. That's nice. Now you're friends again. Uncle Joe?
Yeah, Kate.
You can go fetch the ice now. Charlie and Floyd just made up.
Oh. Well, glad to see you two clowns made it up. Hey, Floyd, will you come and help me lug the ice up in the train? Charlie says you got more brawn than brain anyway.
When did you say that?
Yesterday.
I ain't making up with nobody that talks behind my back.
I ain't been talking behind your back.
I didn't know he was such a sorehead.
Oh, yeah, and I've been putting up with this for 30 years.
Kate, you sure fixed things up. Floyd and Charlie are still at it. They're madder than ever.
I don't know what happened, but I got a feeling you said the wrong thing. Floyd, won't you please... Charlie, isn't there anything... Betty Joe.
Yes, Mom?
Where are you going?
I'm going into Hooterville. Andy Buckles gave me his catcher's mitt to oil up, and I have to get it back to him in time for the game.
Oh, I see. Have a nice ride. Oh, wait a minute, Betty Joe. I think I have a more important mission for you.
Whatever it is, Betty Jo, it must be important.
Oh, it is! The crew of the Cannonball's having a mutiny on the front porch.
Well, there must be more.
As soon as I catch my breath. You see, Charlie thinks he's the boss of the Cannonball because he's the engineer. And Floyd thinks he's the boss of the Cannonball because he's the conductor. Well, Mom had everything settled. And then Uncle Joe stirred them all up again. You see, he was on his way for ice when the refrigerator conked out. And then...
Never mind. I'll find out when I get there.
You go on, Mr. Douglas. Mom's waiting for you at the top of the hill.
Boys, you know Mr. Douglas.
Certainly, Mr. Pratt, Mr. Smoot.
Hi.
Mr. Douglas is a lawyer.
Yeah, we know.
And we know why you brought him here, Kate, to settle our argument. But we don't need no outside help.
But boys...
Kate, you shouldn't have brought him here.
We don't need no New York lawyer to tell us what to do.
No.
I'm sorry, Mr. Douglas.
No, wait, gentlemen. I'm not here as a New York liar. I'm here as a member of your community. A new one, perhaps, but one who deeply appreciates the fact that your train is the main artery of Hooterville Valley. Why, without your experienced hands guiding the controls of the Cannonball, the produce of the valley wouldn't get to market. Our children wouldn't get to school. The entire economy of the valley would come to a grinding halt.
Gee, never thought of it that way.
Well, now, you're both reasonable men. There's a very simple way of solving who's boss, who's management, who's labor. You simply split up the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're the boss. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're the boss. And if anybody works on Sunday, you alternate.
Today's Tuesday, ain't it?
That's right, Charlie.
Well, that makes me manager. All right, Floyd, get your hide on that Cannonball and start the stoking that boiler.
Well, Mr. Management, let me wish you the best of luck with your strike.
What strike?
Me.
What's the idea of the sign?
To show the people what you really are. Listen, you're management and I'm labor, and never our twain shall meet. Stop following me. Doggone it. My darn shoelace is untied. Hold this.
I don't want this stupid sign.
Girls, time for school.
But, Mom, haven't you forgotten something? We can't go to school.
Yeah, the good old Cannonball isn't running.
But the good old handcar is.
Mom.
Come on, into your clothes and on your way.
Kate, you can't do that. Make those girls pump that handcar 25 miles into school and 25 miles back.
You're absolutely right. You can pump the handcar. And while you're in town, would you pick up some ice? Oh, I almost forgot your breakfast. Not only is our food going to spoil, but you are down to your last biscuit.
Thanks for the ride.
Give me a hand here, will you? Too puny, huh? Instead of wasting your time chasing cats, you should have studied to be a Saint Bernard.
There ain't no sense in giving, Sylvia. There's no way to get your milk to market till this here strike is settled.
You're wasting your time, Elroy. Floyd and Charlie are still tiffin'.
Well, no use letting it all go to waste.
A rally to settle a strike. That's a wonderful idea, Uncle Joe. I didn't know you were so civic-minded.
Civic-minded nothing. Pumping that handcar reactivated my lumbago. Hey, I got these all over town.
Mm-hmm. You forgot one detail. With the strike on, how are the people going to get out here?
Yeah. You're a good egg, Charlie. Bring me that fresh pair of socks when I was marching again. You.
Well, after all, didn't you give me your container of hot coffee so as I wouldn't freeze while I was watching you march?
Hi,
Kate. Hi, Joe.
Hi. How wonderful you boys made up.
Yeah. You guys got a lot of nerve making up. Me wasting all this time painting the sign.
Read it out loud, Charlie, so I'll know what it says.
Giant Stop the Strike Rally. Shady Rest Hotel, 8 o'clock tonight. Put Charlie and Floyd back to work.
So you got to him.
Got to who?
Joe. Everybody knows that the conductor's name comes before the engineer.
Boys.
This is Floyd the fireman, not the conductor, and everybody knows that the engineer comes before the fireman.
Oh, yeah?
Boys? Well, I guess you put your big paintbrush in it this time. You and your rally.
I gotta come up with something before my back conks out. Arbitration is officially open. Now, the first order of business is to get management and labor to face each other. Once arbitration ain't going to get off the ground. Now, the key issue in this railroad strike is, featherbedding. Has anybody got anything to say?
I have. What is featherbedding?
Yeah, what's featherbedding?
Well, you're a railroad man. You ought to know what that is.
Well, how should I know? We ain't got a Pullman on the cannonball.
Oh, well, that clears that matter. We're really making progress, ain't we? My function is to reconcile the conflicting demands between management and labor. Now, which one of you is management?
I am management.
Well, which one of you is labor?
Him.
Hold it. I gotta look up one of them what do you call it? Oh, proceedings for a labor management dispute without labor. Okay, that settles that. Now let's get to the core of the matter. Core? Apple. Did you get it? Just a little joke to relieve the tension.
It ain't no joke when a pig-headed engineer is too cheap to buy his own apple and has to steal mine.
You got so much fat in your head, nothing gets through to you. I didn't steal your old apple, see?
Please, boy. You're on progress in progress. Imagine me wasting my talents on them two pig-headed mules. I'm telling you, Kate, they would...
Uncle Joe, your rally idea may have been a flop, but that get-up is sheer genius. Why, they'll take one look at that, start laughing, and get right back on the cannonball.
This is my arbitrating outfit. They've already seen it.
Oh.
I'm telling you, Kate, there's just no way to get to them.
Uncle Joe, there's a way to get to everybody.
What happened to I am not?
Mighty nice of you to invite me to supper, Kate.
Don't mention it. Come on in, Floyd. Supper'll be ready in a few minutes.
Well, if he's eating, I ain't eating.
Well, if you're not eating, he's not eating. So you might as well go back to your signs.
Wait a second, Kate. I don't mind eating if he's eating, because I'm hungry.
Good. Sit right there. Lloyd. There.
But, Kate.
If you're not sitting, you're not eating, and he's not eating.
Well, I'm sitting.
Then you're eating.
Hey, that's my seat you're sitting in.
Kate told me to sit here.
I don't care who told you. I'm the manager of the hotel, and that's my seat.
You may be the manager, but Kate's the owner.
And I'm the conductor.
You keep out of it.
Yeah, don't tell me to keep out of this.
I'll tell you anything I want to.
Nice going. Supper will be ready in a few minutes, boys.
What are you doing?
It's not done enough.
Oh, I say it is.
Look, I'm the oldest. I've got seniority.
How are we doing, Kate?
Just fine. Put the chicken over there. Just a minute, dear. Let everything come to a halt. It's time that people around this hotel learned who is boss, and that is final. And in you go.
They're too lumpy.
No, they're not.
I'm the manager around here, no matter what anybody says.
Here's your dessert.
They haven't had supper.
But they're hungry.
Then don't give them apple pie, and apple started the whole thing.
But they like apple pie.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Don't argue, I'm your mother. It's an age-old battle between management and labor.
What does that mean?
Means we're sitting, but we ain't eating. Floyd, you reckon they're trying to tell us something?
Yeah, that the chicken ain't done and the potatoes are lumpy and we don't like apple pie.
No, it's management and labor. It's us.
It is?
What have we been arguing about?
I don't know.
Well, what are we arguing for?
I don't know.
Well, why don't we stop? Kate!
Yes?
We're friends again.
We sure are.
Well, fine. Girls, bring in the lumpy potatoes, the underdone chicken, and what's left of the apple pie.
Here you are, boys.
Now we're sitting and eating.
Thanks, Curly.
Junction. This has been a Filmways presentation.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Petticoat Junction.
Kate, what are you doing?
Isn't it obvious? I'm redecorating the lobby. How do you like it so far?
You mean to tell me all this stuff came out of that one little closet?
Well, it didn't exactly come out. I dragged it out.
All by yourself?
No. He helped.
Some help.
Well, I couldn't find the girls, and you were sleeping so sound.
Oh, nonsense, Kate. Whenever there's work to be done, you go ahead and wake me up. I'll find the girls for you.
Thanks. And where are you going?
Kitchen. I'm ready to eat.
Always. But if you eat now, you'll spoil your supper.
No, I won't.
Oh, yes, you will, because I won't give you any.
Be reasonable, Kate. If I'm going to look for the girls, I gotta stoke the old boiler.
You just bring that old boiler over here. If you stoke it anymore, you won't be able to carry it.
Very funny.
Now, come on. I'll explain my system to you. I have the girls' things in 3 piles. And Bobby Joe, Billy Joe, and Betty Joe. And this is yours.
Whose is this?
Oh, that's the dog's.
Hey, just a minute, you. You're putting that on the wrong pile. That's my slipper. Give me that. Little scrubby paws off my stuff.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Uncle Joe. Bobby Joe, where in the world have you been? Now, listen. I want you to get over
About time you showed up. We've been looking high and low for you.
I was swimming at the water tower. It was such a nice day. What's going on? What are you doing?
We're cleaning the storage closet.
Works, that's what's going on. Your mother and me have been about breaking our backs while you and your sisters are out lollygagging around.
Speaking of lollygagging, where is Billy Joe?
She's playing tennis with Ace Gunther. They took the train into Hooterville this morning.
Tennis, swimming. Kate, you're raising a bunch of lazy girls.
Yeah. I wonder where they get it. Uncle Joe?
Never mind, Mom. I'll help. What do you want me to do?
Well, first I want you to go through your stack of junk and see if you can get rid of some of it.
Oh, look. Here's my old ukulele. I wonder if I could still play it.
Not without strings. Any drums?
Some people just don't have any sentiment at all.
Oh, I have plenty of sentiment. I just don't have any room.
Mom, if all this junk came out of the closet, it'll all go back in.
Yes, but you see, this is last year's junk. And if we keep it all, where are we going to put this year's junk?
Kate, I got a great idea.
Well, this has got to go.
You're going to burn this?
No, you're going to burn it.
Kate, you haven't heard my idea. This is a valuable old antique.
Well, it's old, but it isn't an antique, and it certainly isn't valuable.
Kate, I'm surprised at you. You're not keeping up on your interior decorating. Now, to you, this is just an old piece of beat-up junk. To me, it's the inventory of a money-making antique shop.
That was your great idea.
Sure. Sometimes if the furniture don't look old enough, you take it out and bang it around till it has dents in it. This is what they call a distress finish.
Well, you know I'm in style after all. Everything I own has a distressed finish. Uncle Joe, when you catch your breath, you can haul the rest of this stuff out.
Hey, the train's in.
Yeah. Later than usual today. I've been waiting for Betty Jo to get home from school. She's good help.
Yeah, fine. Then you won't need me. Here, hold it. I'm going in the kitchen, get a cup of coffee and a piece of that blueberry pie.
I'm saving that pie for supper. Besides, you just had a coffee break.
That was my sandwich break. Now I'm taking my coffee break.
There goes a remarkable man. 1 day's work and he's ahead. 3 weeks breaks.
I just love the way you look in that T-shirt, Ace. And the way you serve that ball. Wow.
Well, there's Billy, Joe, and Ace. I guess they were on the train, too.
Yeah. Looks like I'm going to have a complete staff after all.
Hi, everybody. We just had the most marvelous time. It was a perfect day for tennis, and they resurfaced the courts in Hooterville. For goodness sakes, this place looks awful.
Yeah, I've been cleaning out the storage closet.
Why in the world did you do that, Mom?
Well, it was this way. I had my choice of going to the races, playing golf at the country club, having tea with Lady Bird, or cleaning out the closet so naturally.
Oh, Mother, you're such a character. You know Ace Gunther, don't you?
Oh, of course I do. Hi, Ace.
Hello, Mrs. Bradley. Hi, Bobby Joe.
Hi, Ace.
I need your help, Billy Joe. You're just in time.
Mother, please, I've got company.
Well, that's wonderful. We can use another hand. And when Betty Jo gets here...
You mean she isn't home yet?
No. I thought she was on the train with you.
Not unless she was running it.
Well, that's it, sure. She's in the cab with Floyd and Charlie. I just hope she hurries up. Meantime, I have to see about supper.
Well, if it ain't Miss Billy Joe Bradley, prominent sportswoman, just in from the links.
Hi, Uncle Joe. But you don't play tennis on the links. You play on the courts.
Oh, they must have changed the rules.
Uncle Joe, this is Ace Gunther. Ace, this is my Uncle Joe Carson.
How do you do, Mr. Carson?
All right, son. You know anything about antiques?
No, sir.
That's too bad. I was looking for somebody to help me out in my antique business.
Oh,
Come on, Ace. You must be dying of thirst.
Yes, there's some nice ice-cold lemonade in the icebox.
Oh, hi, boys. Where's Betty Jo? Tinkering with the train again?
No, she didn't go on this run.
And we held the train an extra 20 minutes.
Well, I can't imagine what happened. She usually tells me when she's going to stay late at school.
We ain't seen her since this morning.
I said to Floyd, she just didn't look like our little Betty Jo with her hair slicked up and makeup all over her face.
And when I spoke to her, she didn't answer hardly at all. Just stared out into space, kind of dreamy like her mind was on something far away.
I could see right off she wasn't her normal self.
Her and Moss, they ain't got brains enough to come out at night.
Boys, did she say anything about doing something after school?
I don't recollect she did.
Oh, I thought it was kind of peculiar, her with that suitcase.
Suitcase?
Floyd.
I told Charlie if it was anyone else but Betty Jo Bradley, I'd say she was running away from home.
Running away?
Yeah, you know, like that Perkins girl over in Pixley last month. Run off to the county seat and got married. And she was a year younger than Betty Jo.
Why, Betty Jo wouldn't...
Or that Walker girl from Crowell Corners last year. Hitchhiked halfway to Hollywood, California before they caught up with her.
Floyd, will you shut up? You got a mouth like a cellar door.
What'd I say?
Hey, dumbbell, can't you see that Kate's pretty near worried to death without you making it any worse?
Oh, no, I'm not worried. Why, Betty Jo's too sensible to do a thing like that. No, I'm not worried.
Why are you sweeping the dog?
I'm not. Sure, we'd find a note. Lots of times when she's going to stay late at school, she leaves me a note.
Well, it isn't under there, but I found this.
What's that?
Her diary. I wonder where she kept it.
Bobby Jo, you put that right back where you found it. I wouldn't think of prying into it. Probably locked anyway.
No, it isn't, Mom. See?
That is Betty Jo's private diary. Now put it back.
Okay.
On the other hand, if anything happened to Betty Jo and there was a clue in the diary and I didn't read it, I'd never forgive myself. Give it here. Oh, these are my baby's own personal thoughts, and nobody should pry into them. Put it back. Of course, I don't have to read the whole diary. I could just read the last page. And that's a mother's duty. Give it here. A mother should have some trust in her daughter.
Well, I'm not her mother.
Now, Billy Joe, what are you doing? Bobby Joe, you put this back where you found it. And that goes for dogs, too. Yes, I mean you.
Well, so far no note, but her green dress is missing, and her high heels.
Her green dress, she never wears that to school.
Looks like she did today. She's crazy about that dress.
I know. She thinks it makes her look sexy.
Oh, dear. Well, let's not get excited. Just sit calmly and try to think. I've got it.
What?
Play rehearsal.
No, Mom. Too early. They don't even have tryouts till October.
Cheerleader practice.
That starts next week. She was practicing cartwheels yesterday, getting in shape.
Club meeting?
That's right, no.
Too early.
Don't just sit there. If you've got an idea, say so.
Too bad he can't talk. He probably knows.
Yeah, she tells him everything.
She used to tell me everything. Here, what are you doing?
That's Betty Joe's notebook. He's trying to tell us something.
Take it away from him. He'll tear it. Notes on world history. Reasons why Napoleon was defeated at Waterloo. Oh, you're a great help. We're worried sick about...
That isn't what he's trying to tell us. Look what's written all over the margin.
Mrs. Betty Joe Latimer. Mrs. Betty Latimer. Mrs. Peter Latimer. Well, that doesn't... Who's Peter Latimer?
He's just a new boy in town trying out for high school baseball team.
Betty Joe Latimer, Mrs. Peter Latimer. Wow, she sure flipped over him.
Oh, that doesn't mean anything. All girls do that.
Ooh, and I thought she was just clowning. Saturday we were making the beds. She took the bedspread number 7, you know, the lace one, and draped it over her head and marched up and down singing the wedding march.
Just feast your eyes on this. Now, there's an antique if I ever seen one. How about it, young fella? When's the last time you saw one of them?
Don't think I ever saw one of these before.
Why's he got a clock in his stomach?
So's it can tell time, knucklehead. It ain't working just right, but I think I can fix it. Oh, now here's another fascinating item.
Did you find a note, Kate?
Well, not a note exactly. It was just, well, the whole thing's ridiculous.
Well, she'll probably send you a telegram after it's all over.
After what's all over?
Why, the wedding. That's the way they usually do it.
I swear, Floyd, if you ain't got a one-track mind.
Well, I'm just not going to worry about it yet. There must be a reasonable explanation for all this. And when we find it out, we'll all have a good laugh.
Okay, listen. How about setting aside this section of the lobby for our antique shop?
Our what?
Our antique shop. After all, we got all them priceless antiques and objects d'art. We got to have a place to display them.
Objects what?
D'art. That's French for statues and stuff. Hey, I'm thinking of calling it Ye Olde Antique Shoppy. How does that strike you?
Well, it doesn't. Because all these priceless treasures are going in ye olde trashy basket.
But Kate, you're passing up a fortune.
Please, Uncle Joe. All I can think of right now is Betty Joe. It just isn't like her to do a thing like this. She's always so sensible and so considerate. There must be something that I'm forgetting I'm supposed to remember.
Mom?
Yes, Bobby Joe?
I think I remembered something I was supposed to forget.
What?
Well, it probably doesn't mean anything, but Betty Joe borrowed back her nightgown. The one she got for her birthday.
The pink one? With the ruffles? And the lace? What for?
I don't know.
I think I do.
Oh, shut up, Floyd. You don't know nothing.
Maybe not, but I got a good idea. She probably wanted to sleep in it.
Of course she wanted to sleep in it. What else would she do with a nightgown? Where would she be is the question.
Why, wherever she was eloping to.
That did it. Charlie, I got to get into town. Will you take me?
Well, we're heading the other way towards Pixley, but I reckon we could back it into Hooterville.
Oh, please, Charlie. I got to stop Betty Joe before it's too late. Sorry to make you fellas back the train all the way into Hooterville.
We're glad to do it, Kate. I'll go get up a little steam. Won't take but a minute.
Thanks, Charlie.
Now, don't you worry, Kate. Everything's going to turn out just fine.
Oh, you really think so, Floyd?
Why, sure. Betty Jo's a sensible, level-headed girl. She's going to make a fine mother. Hey, that's going to make you a grandmother, ain't it?
Door's closed. Come back tomorrow.
Sam, open up. It's me.
Well, I don't care who. Kate, I'll be right with you.
Sam, I gotta use your telephone.
Sure, Kate. What's wrong?
Oh, it's just terrible, terrible. Hello, Sarah? Yes, Sarah, give me, who should you give me?
Well, first tell me what's wrong, then I'll tell you who Sarah should give me.
Oh, I'll call you back, Sarah. Oh, it's just dreadful, Sam, dreadful.
And now, Kate, get a hold of yourself.
Betty Jo ran off and got married.
Oh, good gosh, when did this happen?
I don't know. She left the house this morning without saying goodbye, without even leaving me a note.
Oh, now, take it easy, Kate. Betty Jo's a level-headed, conscientious little girl. She wouldn't do anything drastic without telling you.
Oh, tell me more, Sam, tell me more.
Well, she came in here today right after school, like she always does, reaching into the candy jar, and that nice young fella, Pete Latimer, smiling down at her, holding her suitcase, while she dug out some licorice for them to eat on their way to the state line.
State line? Suitcase?
Oh, holy Toledo. You're a mother-in-law.
Oh, my poor baby.
It isn't much of a diamond, Pete, but it sure served its purpose. Let's see you snag this one.
How was that, Betty Jo?
Great! With a little more practice, you'll be another Pee Wee Reese.
Who's she?
She is a he, silly.
This better be the last one, Betty Jo. If I don't get that car home pretty soon, Dad'll kill me.
Well, if you hadn't insisted on coming all the way out here, we could have gotten in a lot more practice.
Oh, gosh, Betty Jo. I couldn't take a chance on practicing in town. What if the fellas were to see me being coached by a girl?
Well, you won't have to worry about that anymore. You're ready for the tryouts. Well, here's the last one.
Betty Jo, you all right?
Mrs. Latimer?
Yes?
I'm Betty Jo's mother.
Oh?
I'm Kate Bradley.
Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Bradley?
I'm Peter Latimer's mother-in-law.
Oh, how nice. Peter Latimer's mother-in-law? Oh, Peter Latimer is my son.
Well, he's also my son-in-law. Your son and my daughter just eloped over the state line.
Oh, this is a mistake. Peter couldn't have eloped. He has all that homework to do. Why, he never... Wait a minute. If he was going to do all that homework, why did he ask to borrow his father's car?
You see, car, suitcase, state line. Listen to me, Mrs. Latimer. Right now, there are 2 innocent children out there being pelted by uncooked rice.
Oh, my poor son.
Your poor son? What about my poor daughter?
Your poor daughter has talked my poor son into the poorhouse. His career is finished. He'll never be a plumber.
What about my daughter? She's a straight A student. A girl who never got to go to college married to a boy who never got to be a plumber. It's all down the drain.
Oh, I've lost my only son.
Oh, Mrs. Latimer, don't feel that way. You may have lost a son, but you have gained the fastest shortstop in Hooterville.
But what good's a shortstop when Peter's socks need darning?
True.
Hey, maybe we can still catch him.
It's worth a try.
Okay, let's get in the car and head for the state line.
Yeah.
No car.
Well, there's only one thing for us to do.
You're right. We'll just have to look on the bright side of things.
one thing, and I wish I hadn't. Pete Latimer's missing, too. His mother is worried sick. Borrowed his father's car this morning, and he isn't home yet. Only those crazy kids would give us some word.
Mom, did you notice? We scrubbed out the closet real good and put back the things you told us to. We didn't know what to do about the party stuff.
And then we carried our own stuff to our rooms. Betty Jo's, too.
Betty Jo.
Hey, Kate, us human beings are a little hungry. We haven't got clocks for a stomach like he has.
Oh, Uncle Joe, you got a clock for a stomach, all right. And it's always set for mealtime. I guess you kids are starved. I'll go out in the kitchen to see what I can rustle up, huh? Wait a minute. Listen.
Mom, it's Betty Jo and some boy. He's carrying her up the walk.
Carrying her? Oh, thank goodness she's all right.
Who's she with?
He's awfully good looking.
Oh, we're almost there.
Yeah.
It's Pete Latimer.
Why do you suppose he's carrying her?
Gosh, Mom, they do.
Now, let's all get away from the window. And when they come in, not a word, let them tell us.
I know. Let's all put on our party hats.
Party hats?
Well, hello, everybody.
Betty Jo. Hello.
Well, what's going on? Is it a party? Well, why didn't somebody tell me?
'Cause you weren't around, that's why. And it ain't a party. We just been cleaning out the closet.
Oh, well, listen, everybody. I'd like you to meet Pete Latimer. Pete, this is my family. My mother, my Uncle Joe, and my sisters, Bobby Joe and Billy Joe.
How do you do? Well, don't just stand there. Come on in. Oh, watch out for that.
Might help if you'd put Betty Jo down.
Sure. Where?
Well, how about right there?
Well, could somebody clear out a chair or something?
Oh, Bobby Joe, help me, huh?
That's fine. Is that all right, Betty Jo?
Oh, just fine.
You're sure you're comfortable?
Oh, absolutely.
Can I get you anything?
Can't think of a thing.
Betty Jo?
Yes, Mom?
If you are sure you are comfortable.
Oh, I am.
Would you mind telling us what this is all about?
Oh, I forgot. You don't know. I twisted my ankle.
It don't look swollen.
No, it doesn't. It looks perfectly all right to me.
And where did all of this take place?
When Pete and I were fielding grounders over at Schroeder's Flats, you see, Pete didn't...
Well, frankly, Betty Jo was coaching me. Well, I didn't want the fellas to know.
Schroeder's Flats. That's why you went over the state line.
Well, sure, Mom. Why else would we...
Well, never mind. Uncle Joe, would you show Pete your antiques while I get supper ready? Come on, girl.
Oh, yeah. You know anything about antiques, son?
No, sir.
Well, that's too bad. I'm looking for somebody to help me out with the antique business.
You haven't eaten your carrots. And would you like some more beans?
Betty Jo, you can teach me about baseball, but when it comes to food, well, I can coach myself. I'm sure glad you folks let me stay for supper.
Wait a minute. We know you kids were practicing baseball, but we still don't know why you took along the suitcase.
Well, I had my ball and glove and school books, and my green dress and nightgown to take to the cleaners, and my shoes to take to the repair shop. So I put them all in the suitcase. Like I said in my note.
Note? What note?
The one on my pillow, where I always leave notes.
Don't look now, but I think we just found the note.
You naughty boy.
Pie, anyone? Except you.
Don't be mad at him, Mom.
All right, you can have some.
Good night, Mrs. Bradley.
Good night, Pete.
I'll see you to the door. See you tomorrow, Pete.
Sure thing.
Bye.
You kind of like Pete, don't you?
Oh, he's just a boy. I'm teaching how to play baseball, that's all. Good night, Mom.
Wait a minute. I thought you sprained your,
Healed fast, didn't it?
Good.
Junction. This has been a Filmways presentation.
Come ride the little train that is rolling down the tracks to the junction. Forget about your cares, it is time to relax at the junction. Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
There's a little hotel called the Shady Rest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
It is run by Kate. Come and be her guest at the junction.
Peoticoat Junction.
And that's Uncle Joe. He's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Peoticoat Junction.
Oh, Sam, you got another bottle of polish remover about this size? Hello, Sam.
Oh, forget something, Mrs. Wilson?
No, I changed my mind about the cherries. Kate! Vera, how good to see you. It's been a long time. How are the children? Fine. And yours? Mean as ever. Help me decide.
Do you like these cornflowers in this hat?
Oh, yes. Yes, the color does something for your eyes.
Yeah, it does something for mine, too.
You know, you can't stay faithful to one girl for 5 minutes.
Well, you get to be my age, every 5 minutes counts.
You know, Sam is right, though. I've never seen you look so well. Could a friend make a guess as to why?
It must be that new soap I've been using.
Just as you say, honey.
I'm glad you asked, Kate. Ronnie Beckman's the first man I've gone steady with since I lost Fred. I like him a lot.
Oh, I'm so glad for you. Have you and Ronnie set the date yet?
Oh, Kate, it's not that serious. So far, it's just the movies once a week.
Well, surely he holds your hand.
Not even if they're playing a monster picture.
Well, then you hold his hand.
Oh, Kate, that'd be forward.
Well, a woman is entitled to be forward when the romance has gone backwards. Why didn't you invite him over for a home-cooked meal?
Asking him over for meals would make it look pushy. You know, like I was setting my cap.
Vera, let me tell you something. A man doesn't wake up one morning and say, I think I'll get married. You have to start the countdown.
Well, Kate, I'll give it some thought. I've decided on these, Sam. Will you put it on my bill?
Oh, sure thing.
Bye, Kate.
Bye, Vera.
Bye, Vera.
Let's see now, Sam. I'm going to need, 3 cans of pineapple juice, 3 cans of tomatoes. Oh, thanks.
Come on, Floyd. We got a schedule to keep.
My fault, Charlie.
Simmer down, will you? 2 passengers at one time, and he falls apart at the seams.
Who's the other one?
A fella named Beckman.
Ronnie Beckman?
Yeah, he's going to Pixley.
Ronnie Beckman on the Cannonball.
What's he do for a living?
Oh, he's a bookkeeper. He moved to Hooterville from Crystal City 5 years ago. He's never been married, he lives alone, and monster pictures don't scare him.
It'd be nice riding with him, seeing as you're such good friends.
Don't be silly, I hardly know him.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Bradley.
Mr. Beckman.
Oh, here, let me help you.
Well, thank you.
What are you feeding, an army or a family?
Oh, just a family. No, an army. I mean, the hotel. The family, they eat hardly anything. It costs practically nothing to feed them. Certainly cheaper than eating out. Not that I'm the greatest cook in the world, but you take my friend, Vera Wilson. Now, there's a cook for you. Oh, I don't mean for you. I mean, she's a great cook. And as I always say, there is nothing like a home-cooked movie. Meal.
Yes, well, I'm afraid I'm not much of a judge of that.
Oh, well, surely you had home cooking when you were a child.
No, I lost both my parents when I was just a boy. I've lived alone most of my life.
Oh, I'm sorry to bring up sad memories, Mr. Beckman.
She put her hand on his arm. Now he's patting her hand. Hardly knows him. She ain't fooling us, is she, Isabel? Save your moo until tonight when you're alone in the barn.
You know, incidentally, that Mr. Beckman sounds awfully formal.
Yeah, so does Mrs. Bradley. I wonder who they are. Ronnie.
I haven't the faintest idea, Kate.
Will you shut up? How can I hear with you bawling?
You have friends in Pixley?
Oh, yes, but it's partly business. You see, a friend of mine owns the Bixley Lumber Yard, and so I spend the weekend and audit his books once a month.
Oh. I bet you couldn't make head or tails out of my bookkeeping.
What sort of system do you use?
The close enough system. You see, you figure out what you spent and what you took in, and whatever is left over, that's close enough. Anyway, it always comes out even.
Well, you should be in Washington, D.C. That's more than they can do with the national budget. You know, Kate, I'm sure it comes as no surprise to you that I've been seeing Vera Wilson a lot lately.
I think it's just fine.
But there's a problem. You see, as I mentioned, I've lived alone.
Floyd, this is kind of private. Do you mind?
Just thought you'd like to know we're passing over Scoville's Canyon. A sheer drop of 4 feet.
Thank you, Floyd.
Well, marrying Vera, I'd be taking on a family.
Yeah, but such a nice one. Vera's children are wonderful. They're so well behaved.
Oh, I'm the problem. I've never had to share so much as an evening paper.
Ronnie, sharing is the best part of it. That's what makes for happiness. I can't even imagine being without my family.
Charlie, do you have to blow that whistle every darn minute? Between the tooting and the mooing, I can't keep track of the wooing.
What in the thunder are you talking about?
Kate and that Beckman fella are sweet on each other.
You climb all the way up here to tell me that?
Now lay off the whistle, will you?
Regulations demand that I blow this whistle at regular intervals. One thing I believe in, it's rules. Sweet on each other. Kate!
Well, we're coming to the shady rest. I hope you have a nice time in Pixley, Ronnie.
I'll carry these for you.
Oh, you don't have to. Floyd will help me off with them.
No, I mean, I'll carry them to the hotel.
Oh, you getting off here?
I hope you have a room for me.
Oh, sure, but I hope you didn't take me seriously about needing help with my bookkeeping.
I'll be glad to audit your books for you, but that's not the reason I'm getting off with you. Well, what better way to learn about family life than living with one?
Shady rest!
Well, you see, my family isn't a very good example. Oh, what I mean is that it isn't fair to Vera, because she only has 2 children. And I have the hotel and Uncle Joe and...
You afraid to let me put it to the test, Kate?
Afraid? What would I be afraid of?
I hope Kate knows what she's doing.
Me too.
Who's that young fellow with Kate?
Ronnie Beckman.
A bookkeeper from Hooterville.
A bachelor bookkeeper from Hooterville.
He lives so close, what's he doing at the Shady Rest?
Joe, that's a good question.
I ain't asking you for the quality of the question. Just give me an answer.
The way we figured, he's going to be your new boss.
He's taking in a partner?
More than that, the way they was holding hands.
Now, just a minute, Charlie. You didn't see him. I seen him.
They was holding hands?
Well, don't ask him. Ask me. I'm the one that's seen him.
Well, I'm asking you.
Joe, I couldn't believe it. I was in the baggage car looking after Newt Colley's cow, and suddenly I opened the door, and there, right before my eyes.
They was holding hands. And not only that, they was sweet talking.
Charlie Pratt, I'll never tell you nothing again as long as I
Well, you certainly keep the place up well, Kate.
Thank you. It is peaceful, isn't it?
Yes, very.
And quiet. A nice, quiet, family atmosphere.
You used up all the shampoo again! There was only that much left from the last time you used it.
Is that so? Well, it just so...
You're getting water all over my clean blouse.
get your key. And just put your bags down anywhere. Here, let me take this. Hey.
You're wearing my blue capris again.
Well, you wore my capris yesterday.
Well, I don't stretch yours out of shape.
Are you implying?
Well, those double chocolate malts don't go to your head, you know.
Oh, that Georgie Davis sub coach he turned out to be. If I ever speak to that sneaky boy again,
You just wait till you want something from me.
Nothing you own fits
Well, all
me.
he had to do was
Take
call
that
her
back.
up.
No, I won't.
Then if Nancy, you start on your clothes and then you start on mine.
Just so happens, Mom.
Oh, but here's your key, and your room is the first door to your left on the landing. Here's the radio's too loud. They just love soap operas. Dears, turn down the radio.
I'm the oldest.
You should have
Girls.
Oh, you don't make any sense. I don't know what you're talking about.
What's the matter, Mom? For a minute, I thought somebody let a flock of geese in here.
Mom, will you tell her she's not the only one who shampoos her hair?
One for Billy Joe, one for Betty Joe, and one for there's nothing for you. One for Bobby Joe. And there's 3 more of everything else in there, too.
Hey, that's a
Gee, you're a doll.
All right, now you girls can do something for me.
Sure, Mom. What?
We have a new guest in the hotel, Mr. Ronnie Beckman from Hooterville. He's a bachelor.
Oh.
And bachelors are not exactly ready for family life. So for the next few days, I would like us to make a good impression. So there'll be no fighting with each other, and I want it quiet around here. And I don't mean everyday quiet. I mean public library quiet. Understand? And that goes... Squirrels. And if you have to bark, bark silently.
What's it matter if this Mr. Beckman likes us or not?
Well, it matters a lot. I mean, I've got a very special reason. But I suppose you're entitled to know what it's all about.
Mom, you don't ever have to explain to us.
No. After all, we're women, too.
Sure, if there's someone you like a lot, well...
Oh, he's not after me. But it's nice to know I can count on my girls if he was.
Well, who is it then?
Well, not a word to Uncle Joe. You know what a blabbermouth he is. It's Vera Wilson. And Mr. Beckman came here to kind of try out family life. And that's why I don't want any arguing or noisy carryings on. If Mr. Beckman likes living here, he's liable to pop the question. And that's why this family is going to be loving and sweet and polite to each other if it kills them.
More potatoes, Mr. Beckman?
No, thank you. Billy Joe?
Thank you. On second thought, I'd better not.
But, darling, with your figure, you can eat anything.
What a darling thing for you to say. Thank you, dear.
This is the Shady Rest Hotel, ain't it?
Betty Jo, I'm sorry your team lost the ball game.
Huh. Your boyfriend, Georgia Davis, ain't such a hot coach after all.
Why, Uncle Joe? He tried. Nobody's perfect.
Kate, you better call Doc Stewart. This girl's got a fever.
After all, it's not who wins, but how you play the game that counts.
Spoken like a true sportsman.
And such a loving thought.
Who else but our little sister could be so loyal to a losing team?
Losing? Well, there's always a bright day tomorrow.
Hey, wait for me. I can't take any more of this either.
Don't you want dessert, Uncle Joe?
No, I've had enough sweets for one meal. Better take it easy with that bone there. You're too young to remember rationing. Once them bookkeepers get their hooks into a budget, all that sweet talk they're giving out with, that's just icing for the wedding cake. So you don't like it either, huh? So this calls for strategy. Now, here's what we've got to do. How about a game of checkers, Ronnie?
Hey, you got a deal.
Red or black?
Oh, you choose.
Well, I guess I might as well take the red, seeing as how we're always in the red around here anyway. Hold your horses. Now cut it out. Who's playing this game, you or me?
Does that dog actually play checkers?
Oh, he ain't so smart. I beat him 2 games out of 3. All right, 1 game out of 3.
Oh, that cost you.
Nobody likes a smart aleck. Now beat it.
That is a smart dog.
Yeah, well, I wish he'd remembered at mealtime. He eats like a horse. That's one of the trouble with kids. They always want pets, and that's more mouths to feed. Dogs don't eat just any old thing nowadays. See what I mean? Kids, too. Eat.
Have an apple, Uncle Joe. Now.
Eat all the time. Sure move. You have no idea what it costs to dress a family these days. My shoes alone. I don't see how Kate does it with the hotel business being as lousy as it is.
I thought the Shady Rest was doing quite well.
Yeah, I guess you did. That poor girl hasn't got a dime she can call her own. We better play fast. They may repossess these chairs any minute.
Uncle Joe, can I see you for a second?
Excuse me a minute.
Uncle Joe, how come you're putting on such a poor mouth with that man?
Kate, there's one thing I ain't got, and that's false pride.
But it's my pride you're kicking around. Why?
There's one thing I am as a character reader, and I can smell a fortune hunter a mile away.
Fortune? Wait a minute. Have you got an idea that that man is after me and for my money?
You're darn tootin'. It's just in case he's got any idea of latching onto a rich widow.
Quiet. It's only Uncle Joe. I guess he thought you were Prince Philip. Where are you going?
Why, church. All this sunshine and love is killing me. At least the preacher gets mad once in a while.
Yeah, it will be a relief. Oh, look what time it is. I better change or the girls and I'll be late.
You forgot to let your bath water run out of the tub.
I haven't taken my bath yet.
Of all the slowpokes, I thought you were through.
You let it run out with my best bath salts? Oh, you dumb little kid, you.
Who's a dumb little kid?
Shh.
Oh.
Can I serve you some more chicken, Ronnie?
Oh, I'm full up, Kate. But I could eat your fried chicken for the rest of my life.
Don't always turn out the same.
How was the sermon at church this morning, Mr. Carson?
Long.
What did he preach about?
Sin.
What did he have to say?
He was again it.
Well, does anyone want any more of anything?
No, thank you, I couldn't eat another thing.
Well, I'll go get dessert then.
I'll help, Mom.
Me too. I'd like to help too.
What a fine family. And what wonderful girls.
It's going to cost a fortune to marry them off. Girl's father pays for the wedding, you know.
I want you girls to know I'm real proud of you. This hasn't been easy.
Do you think he's getting the message?
I think we're coming into the home stretch.
If we win, it'll be by a whisper. But, Mom, I don't think we're really being honest.
And you call yourself a woman? This pie looks scrumptious.
That won't go to your head either.
Mom, if she doesn't stop those snide remarks.
Now, girls, you know, I can hardly wait to see Vera Wilson and tell her all about this.
I'll bet he's going to propose to her.
But when?
Well, that's up to Ronnie.
Hey, Betty Joe, Georgie Davis is in there.
Oh, he is? Well, he'll wish he weren't. I've got plenty to say to him.
We'll hold it for another time. I don't want any fighting or yelling today.
Mom, our team lost the game on account of him.
How would you like to lose that advance on your allowance I promised you?
You wouldn't. You would.
I hate to disturb you, Mr.
Oh, Beckman's the name. And you're not disturbing me. I'm just reading the weather report.
Oh, well, did you happen to hear if Betty Jo mentioned anything about being mad at me?
Well, how could a wonderful girl like Betty Jo ever be mad at anyone?
Huh?
Hello, Georgie.
Oh, hi, Betty Jo. Gee, I was afraid you'd be mad at me on account of we lost.
Oh, well, George, after all, it's not who wins, but how you play the game. Let's go out on the porch.
Are you sure you're not mad about what happened?
Why, Georgie, how could I be mad at such a wonderful boy on such a wonderful day? You have your nerve to show your face around here.
What?
All you had to do was call for a sacrifice.
Now, listen.
When Mary Lou was at bat, you should have told her to bunt. Whose side are you on?
Now, what kind of question is that?
Will you get out of here?
Not until you let me explain.
Go! Go, go, go!
Yeah, paper says rain. There's not a chance. Not a cloud in the sky.
For your information, I signaled Mary Lou to bunt. But she's such a show-off, she couldn't resist taking another swing.
Oh, Georgie, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
That's what's the matter with girls' ball teams. The players are girls. And girls are goofy. One minute you're poison, and the next minute they're all over you.
But let me explain.
Don't bother. I know. You're a girl.
Oh, I hope you do rain. All over that Ronnie Beckman.
Mom, are you sure it's not too tight? Billy Joe, your figure is fine.
Sure. What's a little baby fat?
Bobby Joe, I swear.
Shh, quiet.
What a drag. Can't I even play records?
Not yours.
Maybe I'll get lucky and find an old Lawrence Welk.
Kate, I'd like to pay my bill.
Are you leaving?
Yes, I am. What is it?
You just said the magic word.
You ought to know better than to ask me for a bill. Well, we've just loved having you here. Haven't we, girls?
Oh, yes, it was
it's been
great.
nice.
Oh, of course. Why, you've been a delight.
I just lost my appetite.
And I hope it helped you to decide.
Oh, yes. Yes, it did. I've never known anything like this before. Oh, there's the train. Well, goodbye, all.
Bye,
And
Ron.
thanks.
Take care
Thanks
of
a lot.
yourself.
Goodbye. Now, Bobby Joe, I've got a few words to say to you.
Glad he's gone. I should have brought him here in the first place.
Now, wait a minute. Now, you girls stop arguing. You think I'm going to stop being
After all, I'm only human. Oh.
I forgot my briefcase.
Oh,
We never just got anything. We never do this.
Hold it. I'm glad you came back. We've been trying to give you the impression that we're a bunch of goody-goodies, and it's downright dishonest. That kind of family life is only in storybooks, and you'll find that life at Vera's is just the same as it is here. People fight, and they love, and they kiss, and it's hectic most of the time.
Well, I think Bobby Joe said it. You're only human. And I'm darn glad you are. You know, when I left here before, I had decided that I couldn't marry Vera.
Why?
Well, because a man, especially a bachelor, has just simply got to be crabby once in a while. You know, maybe even have a knockdown and drag out sometimes. If I thought life could be like this at Vera's sometimes,
It will.
I will.
Well, all right then. I'll give it a try.
Grant, remember we got a package deal for wedding.
Oh, congratulations.
Well,
I just think
thank
it's
you.
congratulations.
I knew it. I knew it was going to happen.
You're getting a wonderful woman with 3 fine children.
I thought she had 2 children.
No, count them. 1, 2, 3. It's been a long time since I kissed a bride.
To us, you'll always be Kate Bradley.
Boys, you're confused. Ron is marrying Vera Wilson.
Vera Wilson. And after all that hand-holding and sweet-talking to Kate.
That's all right, boys. Ron and Vera are in love.
Kate, you're taking this like a man.
Well, as Betty Jo always says, it isn't whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game.
Peoticoat Junction. This has been a Filmways presentation.